live today to speak about the Indigenous Collective Mind. And with this Indigenous Collective Mind also comes the beautiful energy of the Galactic Federation. And when I first started connecting with this energy, with the Indigenous Collective Mind, I just really wanted to connect more to my roots. And then when I started connecting more to my roots, that's when the Galactic Federation showed up. And it was like, oh, like so beautiful, because the energy, and Angelica, you've been working with the Indigenous Collective Mind, like tuning in to see how that shows up. And it feels very, very beautiful and very high vibrational, right? Like, can you share what you've been feeling with this collective?
Yeah, of course. When I tapped in and when I tune in, it's a very gentle, loving, compassionate energy, but very powerful and very grounded. I feel a lot of shamans, a lot of grandmother and grandfather energy. And I feel the guidance that they're wanting to, or that they're like kind of emanating, not that they're forcing us or anything, they're just kind of emanating it. And for us to, as we tune in, we kind of receive this guidance depending on how receptive or open we are to it.
Yeah. It's so beautiful, and it's well, we'll be diving deeper into it, because there's a lot that that we're going to be sharing. But I also wanted to talk a little bit just about what I felt when the Galactic Federation started showing up, because I was out of nowhere. I started channeling messages from the Indigenous Collective Mind. And then when I got to a place here, I'll be sharing that again. But when I got to this point, I felt this other energy, and it felt very extraterrestrial. And that's when I started to feel that collective of just galactic beings, and them sharing their perspective on how important it is for us to be human and to embrace this aspect of us, to really access more of our galactic origins and our galactic frequencies. So it's like we often starseeds, we detach from our humanity, from our planet, because we are alien and we're not from this planet. But it's like that this is part of part of the test, I guess, in a way. And it's like, this is one of the lessons that we have to learn, and one of the things that we have to master. So it's very beautiful. And the way that these two collectives, the Indigenous Collective Mind and the Galactic Federation, show up for me is as one. It's like the Galactic Federation is one. It's not a specific being or a group of specific beings, but a collection of many acting as one. And it's very quantum too, because it's the multiverse aspect, or like the many aspects that exist of these extraterrestrial beings. So it's very high vibrational, and it is pure light. That's how I see them and how I feel them, and it's very beautiful. And the Indigenous Collective Mind shows up just like the Galactic Federation as this group of beings that exist across the multiverse. But it's very beautiful. It's all energy, and it's all just it's fascinating just to feel those energetics. But yeah, so you can help us ground the energy and go from there, because let's do that.
I'm already kind of grounding some of the energies. So I'm going to close my eyes, and whoever's tuning in, you feel free to close your eyes, keep them open, however you feel called to be present in this space. And we're going to spend some time just taking a couple of deep breaths and focusing on your heart center, focusing your energy there, expanding, clearing, centering, and balancing. We're going to ground the energies now just breathing in through our heart space and intending to ground these very, very cosmic and very, very earthly, very earthly, very indigenous energies into the earth to assist and support us in our own journey, to illuminate what we require needs to be like illuminated on our path. May this serve in the highest and best way, and may you receive exactly what it is that you need to receive from this, and may it land wherever it needs to land within you, within your spirit, within your soul. So that you may be inspired, centered, aligned, empowered, and sovereign. Ikiwa ayasa no shatiastiwa. Akoyanastawiyasta. Kawasha, kawasha, kawasha. Connecting deeply to the earth and to all of her elements. Connecting to this Indigenous Collective Mind and the powerful yet compassionate and very gentle guidance that they offer us today. Grounding this. So if you need visual grounding it into your feet, taking it all the way down into the earth, into the core of the earth, and grounding you, rooting you into your body fully. Grounding so that we can expand and move upwards and outwards. Expansive. All the way to the Galactic Federation of Light. Grounding in so that we can move upwards, so that we can grow and expand in the highest way. That is in alignment with each individual, unique soul tuning in at this moment. Akuya natuwasashakua. Ha anuwashakatiwasta. Taking another deep breath and centering, bringing both of these energies into your heart base. From the sky, centering into your heart, anchoring into the heart. And from Mother Earth below, drawing in from your feet into the heart. Breathing into your heart. Okay, I think we're ready.
Yeah, I felt that. As soon as I was feeling it, and then you said the Galactic Federation, you mentioned their name, and it was like I felt this huge ball of light just landing and spreading all over. So that was amazing. The Indigenous Collective Mind, I felt them wanting me to talk a little bit more of what they are. And just because we're all familiar with the Galactic Federation, but we're not really familiar with this Indigenous Collective Mind. And I'm just going to read something that I wrote. And I already shared this, but, just to have this here, just for additional information. And I think this will give us just a better idea of what we are connecting with. So, and this is all channeled information, so this is how they were referring to. They were like presenting themselves as. And okay, so it says the Indigenous Collective Mind is a network of indigenous consciousnesses throughout the multiverse. What you are speaking to or hearing from now is the part of the network that originated on this planet. But there is more, much more. It's all one. And even if you don't feel any attachment or connection to any indigenous group on Earth or any other planet in the cosmos, you are one of it, one with it. This is not important, but it is to be made aware of. You originated somewhere, and the collective is calling you. And this feels so beautiful because I do believe that even if we are humans on this earth, there is part of us that is rooted, that is connected to an indigenous collective, to an indigenous consciousness of this earth. It doesn't matter who we are, black, white, brown, whatever we are, there is, even if it's just 1%, that connects us to some sort of indigenous group. And so I do feel that is very beautiful, very amazing. And so that's kind of what I feel when I connect with this collective. And it feels very quantum because they are connecting from this earth, but then there's also this collective that I felt the other day coming in through the sun portal. So it's like there's the sun, the stars are sort of portals to other universes, not galaxies, but like actual universes that are connected through those solar portals and like stars. So that's a lot for me to like really understand at this time. So I'm not gonna dive into it because I don't know. But yeah, it's a very beautiful energy, and yeah. So is there anything, Angelica, that you want to add before I start reading what they shared, or what are you feeling?
I feel like there is a bit of, let me feel. I feel like there's a bit of language beforehand that wants to come through. Ayuwana yasakua itasatu. Idawaya aisikadiwaya. Ika ua. Ida ua asa. Kawana saku isa shaku uasa. Kawa isitu ua asa ino. Akana ua ya di asa uashati. Kawa sa uana. Ika iwa nasashu. Ayan uasa shaka sika awa. Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to read the questions because I was asking them questions, and then the Indigenous Collective Mind would step in and answer, and then the Galactic Federation also stepped in. So I'm just going to read it. So I asked, what is your perspective on extraterrestrials and disclosure? The government is starting this movement to disclose information that we already know of, but has been kept hidden for decades, hundreds, thousands of years. Do you have anything to say about this? And again, this is for the Indigenous Collective Mind. And so what they said is, yes, we have plenty to say. We are human, the indigenous souls of this land. Now, not everyone within our collective originated on this earth. Some were star people that incarnated in the flesh of a human. Not only did we have knowledge of these extraterrestrial beings, but we worked with them. Many of the ancient tribes did this consciously, and others did so unconsciously through the incarnated souls. And I do want to add something to this. A few weeks ago, or days, I don't even know, time is just such an illusion right now, but I had this beautiful experience where my consciousness traveled back in time to the Mayan era, and I remember being in this beautiful place, and I could see like a pyramid, And I remember walking, and I was a Mayan man. So I was in a physical Mayan male body. And so I remember I was walking, and then ahead of me, I could see an extraterrestrial being speaking with a chief, with one of the leaders, I guess, in a way, of the Mayan Empire. And I remember I was just vibing, I guess, just walking. And as I came closer to these two people, the extraterrestrial being turned and looked at me, and he greeted me. It's like he recognized me. And then once that happened, I went to the right, and ahead of me was the pyramid. I don't know which pyramid it was. I just remember seeing a pyramid. And then next to the pyramid, I could see a spaceship, a UFO, or yeah, a spaceship. And then I went inside the spaceship, and as soon as I entered that craft, my body shapeshifted into an extraterrestrial being, like a Pleiadian looking being. And so I really do believe that a lot of the people that lived as indigenous people in the Mayan era, the Aztec era, just native people of the planet, they were incarnated starseeds. They were extraterrestrial beings assisting humanity. And with the Mayans, I mean, they were so wise and such an incredible consciousness and collective. And what I believe that I witnessed in that vision was the kind of, they were strategizing and thinking about how the Mayans would exit the planet, because they had ascended. Their frequency had already, they were out of this world, literally, because it was like they were already so advanced and so conscious, and they were ready to start working directly with the star nations. And so I believe that's kind of like what happened. But yeah, so them saying that a lot of starseeds and extraterrestrials incarnated here as humans. And I mean, we see this happening now, where a lot of us, we are so alien, but at the same time, like myself, I feel so alien, but I am probably one of the people that looks the most human. And that's so confusing to me, because my energy is so extraterrestrial. So I'm like, how do I balance these energies? But yeah, that's another topic for another story. Because Angelica, I feel that you have mastered more of the human aspect, and you have been able to work with this energy, the physicality of this experience. And so I do feel that you have been able to experience more things physically and in this human form. But you look so extraterrestrial to me, like so galactic. It's so beautiful. But yeah, do you have anything that you want to add to this?
No, I don't. I just thank you. I really do feel like that. I second everything that you say, or that you said, because I feel like the same way. And feel like for me, I feel so alien, and I even look that way. And it can be very, very difficult and very challenging for me to be like human, because I'm like way, yeah, 90 above, or so way out there. And so like in this life, I've experienced a lot of the human stuff and the human traumas, but like so alien going through that, and it's like, whoa, how do I reconcile all of that? So I feel like a lot of starseeds can relate to that, because like, even I have difficulty speaking, because it's like this whole language thing is like, how does this even work? Trying to translate all of these big energies into one word that can be very limiting is like, well, how do you do that? It's, I've been here for quite a while, and I'm still working on it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a journey, but yeah, I think I definitely feel that a lot of us are doing an extremely amazing job just navigating the energies and really surrendering to the human experience, because there's really, I mean, the only way out is in, and by in is like within ourselves. Like that's how we're gonna, just master this life, because that's, we're gonna be ascended masters when we leave this planet. I believe that. Yeah. Okay, so now here's what they said about disclosure. So they said, we believe that it is time for the human to become aware of their cosmic heritage. But before you can commune with the star people, you have to commune with your own earth people. You are human. Genetics connect you to this land, to its people. Your search for the cosmic self will only unfold fully with the remembrance of your humanity. Think about it this way. The human searches or reaches out to star people because of their wisdom, the collective knowledge. Earth is another planet floating among the stars in this vast universe. Why would it be different here? The star people showed up to us, the indigenous people of this land, because of our connection to this planet. Everything is energy. Rejecting your humanity will only pull you farther away from your cosmic truth. Embracing your human creates balance, harmony, inner peace. It is with the understanding of who you are as a human that your cosmic self activates to its full capacity. And I truly believe this, because the moment that I stopped reaching up to the stars and really started rooting on this earth and grounding my energy and embracing my body, embracing my human aspect, all that I am, that was the moment that my consciousness just expanded so much, and I was able to receive information and actually do something with that information. Because I feel that the human body is what makes us masters of the physical world. Because this is the vessel, this is the tool that we have to actually create in a planet like Earth. It's not all just in the clouds. We are integrating energy and creating something with it. So I definitely love that they said, we worry so much about disclosure, and it's great. It's great for people to start learning about the extraterrestrials, but at the same time, come back to yourself and embrace the human and just really start working with those aspects within you so that you can just be more in oneness, in that oneness consciousness, and really love humanity and not just bash it and try to disconnect from it. Because I'm a master at that, at disconnecting. I'm such an introvert. I know it's so easy. It's so much easier for me to detach, to step back, and to do my own thing. But at the same time, it's like we are here to assist humanity and to be humans, to show how the human can transcend the limitations and can harness those cosmic frequencies and be sort of that vessel that can do anything and can do everything. So I do love that. And so what do you think, Angelica?
Again, definitely seconding that. Once again, I'm like you. I can very easily detach and just be like, oh no, like I'm just not present. I'm up here somewhere. But what I've learned and what I'm still learning, because I'm not a master at this yet, I'm still learning to come down and root here. It was in the beginning of my awakening. I was like, oh my gosh, like aliens, and I'm a starseed, and I'm like, yeah, I was like reaching outwards. And then I realized I have to really root down in the body and ground in the body. And that, I think that started for me when I realized I had to start doing like the internal work and the internal reflection and doing the shadow work and working inside so that I could feel safe in my body and to actually be present, because I was so detached from all of the different traumas. And so I've had to, and still am learning how to be present and ground my energy here, because this is such a big foreign idea for me. It's an alien idea for me to ground, not to connect, because I love to connect to Earth, but to ground and be present and also connect with others. It's like I have a lot of, or I've experienced a lot of trauma that involved people, and it made me feel like afraid and like, oh, I don't want to. And I feel like a lot of people have that. Like, I feel like I hear people all the time, I hate people, I hate people, I hate people. But if we're not doing that work, or just realizing that connection, human connection, we need that. That can be a big detriment, and that disconnects us from our humanness, our humanity. And then we're just like, we're kind of like resisting our own humanity. And what we are is so beautiful. And if we can learn to embrace that, I feel like there's an expansiveness and openness that allows us to, as we root down and become more present and more grounded, we can connect further and farther and expand even more, because we're grounded, we're present.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and it's I think that is key, again, just to really embrace the human in us and embrace the human in other people. You know, it's like we are always looking for perfection, but no one is perfect. There's no perfection, and there are just so many different perspectives and so many different possibilities and timelines that exist. And so why fight? Like, that's just my frustration in this world. It's how petty we can be and fight over things that don't really matter, you know, because everything is energy, and the material world is just a playground for us to have fun and to experience, to explore the possibilities. But yeah, so I love that. And so continuing just on the topic of disclosure, I asked, well, the question is now, do you feel the intention of this disclosure movement is good? How do you feel about the government's approach? And so what they said, and they laughed immediately when I asked this question, and they said, the government, these power structures, think they are in control, but the only ones in control are the people. You cannot keep the truth from surfacing. Yes, there will be manipulation, but you have the power to remove the fear from those beliefs. You all have the power to shift the vibration of their intention to one that matches your intention. And then here's when the Galactic Federation showed up, and it's still about disclosure. They said, yes, this is accurate. You have the power to shift the vibration. And when you shift the vibration, you shift the reality that they are counting on you to create. You are always co-creating with these power structures. Without you, they are unable to do anything. They need you. The way disclosure unfolds is solely dependent on you. What do you believe? What do you feel? What will you do? And I think that's the most incredible thing. It's just reminding us that everything depends on our perspective and the energy, the intention that we have. So if we hear all of these fear-based belief systems coming from the government, whether it be about the virus or about extraterrestrials, about disclosure, if we hear all of these fear-based beliefs, these fear-based perspectives, and we embrace them, and then we start feeling that fear ourselves, that fuels their agenda, that fuels the reality that they are counting on us to create. They cannot create these realities without us, because they need our consent. They need our energy. And so I think this is a powerful reminder for us to be conscious and to be aware, to stay present in our experience, so that we can create the reality that we want to create for ourselves. And the way that we can do this individually is just by starting to really live the way we want to live our lives individually, just in our little bubble, and start making changes, start taking action with an open heart and with an open mind, and hearing other people's beliefs, but not engaging if those beliefs don't align with what we believe in. And and really just start being more compassionate. And yeah, but again, it's like the government, they think they're in control, but they're really not, because without the people, then they're nothing. So it really, the power really lies with the people. And yeah, so extraterrestrial beings are just beautiful beings of light. And what I believe in is that personally, I connect with energy in the quantum field. And so I believe, or I ask, that anytime I connect to energy, it's with high vibrational energy, with beings that are at my level of frequency or higher. And so I am never afraid of connecting with someone that is lower, because in my reality, that doesn't exist, because I'm not fitting into that timeline, into those beliefs. And so I'm never really having issues with like attachments or demonic entities, because I don't believe that. I don't give power to it. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because if someone else believes in it and they are afraid of it and they feed into it and they, it exists in their mind, then that creates that reality, and they exist in that timeline, in that point, in that reality. So yeah, it's all really very energetic, and it's all about intention. It's all about what we believe, our perspective. But I'm honestly very excited just about disclosure, so that people can start listening and start really opening their eyes to the possibilities and to everything that exists outside of this planet. And even though it could be used for manipulation and to control the masses and to really, like spread fear, I feel that people like Angelica and myself, like we are here to spread the message that is based on love and not so much fear, and to bring in more of the light, so that, humanity doesn't start acting or being afraid of the unknown, because it's like this is all new to us. So what do you have to say, Angelica?
I feel like this is a very powerful point that they made. I heard someone say this on a video I was watching recently of like, even among the starseed community, like this whole us and them thing kind of fuels the victim mentality or the victim consciousness, and that's still feeding that same, still perpetuating that same agenda, or whatever you want to call it. So I feel like it's a very, very powerful point that they made there. Is like it depends on our view and our, and our perspective, and that goes into the, kind of feeds into the live that we did like a couple weeks ago of like we can choose what we believe, and we can remember that we have responsibility to choosing what we believe, and we can intend for ourselves to sometimes, if you're like me, I had to do a lot of internal work, so a lot of times we got to do the work, right? So if it's your intention to do the work, in order to shift those beliefs, it's your choice or not. You can choose to or to not to, right? But it's also your responsibility, and that whole thing allows us, as we realize that and shift that for ourselves, that allows us to remember, like literally put the pieces back together of our sovereignty and command our own space and take dominion of our own space. And I feel like you, Miroslava, are so good at that, of like no, like this is my space, and you are not allowed into it. And I feel like that's a very, very powerful example to have, for the whole human collective, because, just through shifting those beliefs and like, no, I don't want to exist in a reality that, I have to fight demons, or I have to participate in this whole back and forth and the dark and the light fighting. No, I'd rather not. I just rather do my own thing. So I feel like that's such a powerful point that they made.
Yeah. And that's it. That's us reclaiming our power, you know. And it's like, you know, and not really, because what I struggled with was listening to what other people were saying. That was more on the fear-based side, and that's great. You know, if that's what you believe in, then there's no judgment. It's all about, you know, what I believe in and what I want to experience personally. And so detaching from those beliefs, and really, it's a lot of work that we have to do with our brains to really decondition the human mind and kind of start turning down the ego. Because I know a lot of people don't believe this, but I have one of the biggest egos. And it's so crazy how, you know, and the ego, when someone, you know, does something and the ego responds, and it's like, it hurts. It sucks, really. So so what I've had to do was really start to decondition the brain and start thinking for myself, start, you know, like doing things myself, what I believe in, and just really just go with that. And really trust the feeling, trust what I feel, because the feeling, that's the truth. To me, that's what tells us the truth.
Yeah.
And so it's very beautiful. I think I have one more question. So I said, this is for the Galactic Federation. What do you have to say about the indigenous people of this planet? Do you agree with what they shared about the importance of humanity's connection with the Earth? And they said, yes. You cannot assist the Earth if you constantly want to leave her. You're not just here to remember your cosmic connections. You are here to assist the Earth by becoming one with Earth. And that is, I think, that is the biggest point that they were trying to make, including with the Indigenous Collective Mind, is that, you know, in order to actually assist the Earth, we have to be, and we have to become one of Earth and one with Earth. And the way we do that is by just embracing our humanity, embracing the human in us, and just really starting to act, you know, from that oneness connection and from the heart and with compassion. There's so much need for compassion now at this point in humanity's history, because even the people, like the people in the government that are not doing good things, but you know, we have people on this side, the starseeds, the spirituals, the religions, and it's like there's always this fight. It's like the government is doing this, so I'm so angry at you for doing this to us. But at the same time, it's like, hey, let's take responsibility. They can't do anything to us. We're the ones following that, and we're the ones believing that. So let's, you know, like you were saying, Angelica, the victim mentality, and like really stepping out of that and start taking accountability and start, you know, making changes within our life and start creating the lives that we want to live, not by following what others say or what others do, what seems normal. Let's start doing things differently. And I feel that that's like the most beautiful thing about the age of Aquarius, is that, you know, we can be unique. We don't have to be like anyone else. And the negative side of the age of Aquarius is everyone gathering in one room, in one box, and doing the same thing. And I feel that, you know, and now like society standards and like trends and all of this stuff with social media, everyone wants to do the same thing. And I'm looking at them like, stop. That's so frustrating. Oh, I spit. Yeah, that's something that I am, it's frustrating, because I have the moon in Aquarius, so I'm a very unique person. Like, I don't like following trends or doing what other people are doing. And when I see humanity doing this to themselves, because we are not being authentic, we're just looking for likes or for, you know, people to look at us. We just want to be seen. And that's another one that we have, is that we don't feel seen, we don't feel loved. And then we have to dive deeper into that shadow work and really do more work. And that's even like a deeper layer. So like, when does this end? There's always going to be something to heal, and there's always going to be work to do. But when that shows up, if we do the work, it's much easier. And we don't react. We actually feel the emotion and we transmute it. And by using that emotion, we create magic. And it's it's beautiful. And I feel that, Angelica, we are now in this space where when we are like starting to really create magic, and we're no longer trapped in that victim mentality. We still get those triggers. We still do, but we feel it, and we change, or we shift our perspective of these experiences, and we utilize the energy and the pain, the struggle, in a way that assists other people. And yeah, I'm kind of getting emotional, because I mean, it's been a lot. I know that you've been through so much, and I have been through my own thing. It's not exactly what you've experienced. So that's just like a whole other level. But it's like I feel that we all experience exactly what we need to experience in order to grow and to ascend and to reach higher states of consciousness. And I believe that humanity, even though there's a lot of people that think that we're lost, we're really not lost. I feel that we are starting to really find ourselves, and that's very beautiful. I do see very positive timelines for what we're doing, and it's very empowering and very inspiring to see more and more people now being authentic and talking about their experiences. So yeah. What do you feel, Angelica?
I feel like you're really on point when you say that everyone experiences exactly what they need to. Because I feel like humans, we've been through our trauma, or societal or cultural conditioning, whatever it is, we have this almost need to quantify our trauma. Like, oh, yours is not as much as I have. You haven't been through what I have been through. And it's like, well, no, you're right. I haven't. But also, as humans, we go through so many similar things, and it's finding the similarities of, like, we both experience pain, or we've all experienced pain when we come here, because that's part of the job here. That's part of the gig. But we have this thing of, like, you haven't experienced as much as I have, or vice versa. And I feel like that may be true, but we all experience exactly what we need to. And in my experience, I've experienced a ton of trauma that I ran from for 20 plus years. And when I had my awakening, I realized I have to do this for me. And not that I have to, but I want to. Because if I don't, I realized if I don't do this, I am going to end myself. Literally, I'm going to kill myself. Or, that sounds really deep and dark, but like, we get that. I feel like every human being can relate to that in some way. And it was through my own intentions of, okay, I want to learn all of the spiritual things, but I also want to bring wholeness back to me. And in doing our internal work and soothing that and having like compassion for ourselves, like all of the stuff, right? Learning how to hold space for ourselves, etc. We learned that, wow, like this person over here, we learn to see through, the trauma and the wounds. And if someone's acting out, we learn to see that for what it is, the pain, rather than the trigger, not that the trigger isn't there, but we learn to act through the compassion rather than the trigger. And that's something that I'm still learning to do. I have to call myself back to myself a lot, because I still, it's not just what we've gone through, the trauma, but like there's collective trauma. And if you're sensitive, then you're feeling some of the collective stuff that's going, that we're experiencing and purging too. So it's about embracing our humanity and embracing ourselves on a personal level, on self first, so that we can extend that compassion to others, as well as humanity, and embrace our humanity, because we're here to fill it all. We're not here to detach and run away. Bringing it kind of full circle, we're here to be here and feel it all, and kind of like Lori Ladd says, like devour it all, and like be in the experience, and not like push it aside or invalidate it or detach from it in any way. So it's I feel like we've both experienced what we have, because we were here to, like me and you kind of balance each other out, like we talked about. But like I feel like us as humanity are, as different puzzle pieces, we do that. We balance each other out. We learn, if we're open enough, we learn, you've gone through that, I can be kind of open to that now. Or, I mean, there's so many ways that we uplift each other. If we were just more open and more compassionate of each other, we can like totally expand so much further beyond where we are now, this kind of constricted place of fear and control.
Yeah, and I feel that that is so needed. Also, holding space for not just for ourselves, but for each other, for other people to feel safe, because right now there's a lot of crazy things happening because people haven't been heard, or they feel that, like their voices have not been heard. And so now I feel that it's very important for us to, even with people that are just around us, families, friends, to listen to what they say and not just talk all the time. And, because, I mean, yeah, that's something that I've experienced myself as an empath, like being the one that listens and never being able to talk because other people are so in their experience and in their pain. Because we've talked about this, that humans have this powerful addiction to suffering, to pain, because that's all we know. There's always going to be something to heal, and there's always going to be work to do. But when that shows up, if we do the work, it's much easier. And we don't react. We actually feel the emotion and we transmute it. And by using that emotion, we create magic. And it's beautiful. And I feel that, Angelica, we are now in this space where when we are like starting to really create magic, and we're no longer trapped in that victim mentality. We still get those triggers, we still do, but we feel it, and we change, or we shift our perspective of these experiences, and we utilize the energy and the pain, the struggle, in a way that assists other people. And I'm kind of getting emotional because, I mean, it's been a lot. I know that you've been through so much, and I have been through my own thing. It's not exactly what you've experienced. So that's just like a whole other level. But it's like I feel that we all experience exactly what we need to experience in order to grow and to ascend and to reach higher states of consciousness. And I believe that humanity, even though there's a lot of people that think that we're lost, we're really not lost. I feel that we are starting to really find ourselves, and that's very beautiful. I do see very positive timelines for what we're doing, and it's very empowering and very inspiring to see more and more people now being authentic and talking about their experiences. So yeah. What do you feel, Angelica?
I feel like you're really on point when you say that everyone experiences exactly what they need to. Because I feel like humans, we've been through our trauma, or societal or cultural conditioning, whatever it is, we have this almost need to quantify our trauma. Like, oh, yours is not as much as I have. You haven't been through what I have been through. And it's like, well, no, you're right. I haven't. But also, as humans, go through so many similar things, and it's finding the similarities of like we both experience pain, or we've all experienced pain when we come here, because that's part of the job. That's part of the gig. But we have this thing of like you haven't experienced as much as I have, or vice versa. And I feel like that may be true, but we all experience exactly what we need to. And in my experience, I've experienced a shit ton of trauma that I ran from for 20 plus years. And when I had my awakening, I realized I have to do this for me. And not that I have to, but I want to. Because if I don't, I realized if I don't do this, I am going to end myself. Literally, I'm going to kill myself. Or, it sounds really deep and dark, but like we get that. I feel like every human being can relate to that in some way. And it was through my own intentions of, okay, I want to learn all of the spiritual things, but I also want to bring wholeness back to me. And in doing our internal work and soothing that and having like compassion for ourselves, and like all of the stuff, right? Learning how to hold space for ourselves, etc., etc., etc. We learned that, wow, like this person over here, we learn to see through, the trauma and the wounds, and if someone's acting out, we learn to see that for what it is, the pain, rather than the trigger, not that the trigger isn't there, but we learn to act through the compassion rather than the trigger. And that's something that I'm still learning to do. I have to call myself back to myself a lot, because I still, it's not just what we've gone through, the trauma, but like there's collective trauma. And if you're sensitive, then you're feeling some of the collective stuff that's going, that we're experiencing and purging too. So it's about embracing our humanity and embracing, ourselves on a personal level, on self first, so that we can extend that compassion to others, as well as humanity, and embrace our humanity, because we're here to feel it all. We're not here to detach and run away. Bringing it kind of full circle, we're here to be here and feel it all, and kind of like Lori Ladd says, like devour it all, and like be in the experience, and not like push it aside or invalidate it or detach from it in any way. So it's, I feel like we've both experienced what we have, because we were here to, like me and you kind of balance each other out, like we were talking about. But like I feel like us as humanity, or as different puzzle pieces, we do that. We balance each other out. We learn, if we're open enough, we learn, you've gone through that, I can be kind of open to that now. Or, there's so many ways that we uplift each other. If we were just more open and more compassionate of each other, we can like totally expand so much further beyond where we are now, this kind of constricted place of fear and control.
Yeah, and I feel that is so needed. Also, holding space for not just for ourselves, but for each other, for other people to feel safe, because right now there's a lot of crazy things happening because people haven't been heard, or they feel that, like their voices have not been heard. And so now I feel that it's very important for us to, even with people that are just around us, families, friends, to listen to what they say and not just talk all the time. And, because, that's something that I've experienced myself as an empath, like being the one that listens and never being able to talk, because other people are so in their experience and in their pain. Because we've talked about this, that humans have this powerful addiction to suffering, to pain, yes. Because that's all we know. Just, I guess going back to disclosure, I do feel like this is just my own perspective, that there will be a lot more showing up in the world. And this information is going to be coming from structures, power structures like the government. But at the same time, and this is what I'm just feeling like right now, it's like this energy, I do feel that we will be experiencing more UFO sightings. And there's going to be there's going to be more stuff like that taking place that is going to give us hope. Because I feel that they are going to give us hope when humanity is going to be in chaos, and there's going to be a lot of fear. But then, and I don't know if this is attached to maybe disclosure or like what the government is telling us. I don't know if it's connected to any of that, but I do feel that they will show up for us in a way that I feel starseeds especially will be able to connect to and understand or see as this sign of peace. And like, okay, like we are heading the right direction and it is okay. So I don't know if this is going to be happening at a global scale, or maybe us just experiencing things like that individually and having those sightings ourselves, or having just a deepening the connection with these extraterrestrial beings. You know, it's like I feel like there is this deepening that's going to be taking place, and we are going to be able to be more at peace with our beliefs and trust that, you know, our experiences, our galactic encounters, our galactic and just all of this incredible stuff that we have experienced, whether it be physically or just consciously, energetically, that they are in fact truth. And so I feel that a lot of starseeds that are looking for that sign, they will start to see those signs, and they will start to believe in themselves and trust the word and trust the feeling that they receive. So I don't know, that's something that just came out of nowhere. So I do feel that maybe that's something that we will begin to experience. I don't know when, but you know, it's going to be all a process that will be unfolding. And yeah, so what do you feel personally about disclosure?
I feel like, let's see, is there anything else that, besides what I was feeling myself? Yeah, I feel the same thing. So what I want to say, what bring in about disclosure is remaining empowered and remaining sovereign, and not leaving it up to a government or an official agency to tell you what is truth and what is not truth. Because the only way, like speaking from personal experience, the only way you're going to know is, you know, when you align yourself to your own truth and you feel in for yourself and have your own experience of it. Because there's so many different, you know, extraterrestrials are just like people. It's not like all black and white. You know, there's very, very high benevolence, you know, angelic, you know, extraterrestrials, and there's like extraterrestrials that don't have our highest good in mind. You know, they are after control and domination. So it's really important that within this whole disclosure unfoldment, we take some time to really feel into it, because there's a lot of times, and there's like a lot of little nuances, right? Because sometimes the thought of extraterrestrials, not even seeing one or having a direct experience, can bring up fear. But that's a lot of times really high benevolent extraterrestrials will bring up that fear within us, so that we can realize that, but then we confuse that as, oh, they're bad. So there's so many different nuances here, I feel. But just to remain sovereign and empowered, and set intentions to align to your truth and align to your own being and your own truth in all of it. Because what we're going to need, from my perspective, is discernment, is a lot of discernment, and being able to see through like bullshit, being able to see through like agendas and different stories that we're being told. And I feel like it's very, very important to have that going into this age of Aquarius, because if not, then we can be led to, go quote unquote astray onto creating timelines that are very, very fear-based rather than love-based and empowering and sovereign. So it's kind of, for me, it's kind of tuning into what frequencies, what do you want your experience to be, and intending that, and kind of aligning that, aligning your reality, aligning your beliefs, so that you have your own experience with it, rather than relying on the government or any other official entity to tell you who, what to believe, basically, and all of that, because that can be a mess. So I've experienced a lot of that. Like beings telling me that there are certain things, and it's like, oh shit, no, you weren't. So yeah, speaking from personal experience again.
Yeah, and I feel that, we can definitely see the difference between, for example, my life, the way I live is, I don't watch the news. I don't know what is happening in the political world. Like, I don't care about that. And so just my experience, I'm always, like very peaceful. Yes, there's a lot of thoughts, but I'm very much at peace with my energy and with the way that I'm feeling the world, because I'm not really connecting to those lower vibrational timelines or the fear-based timelines. I'm more in the alignment with that fifth dimensional frequency, with the vibration of the new earth, because that vibration is already there. We just have to align to it. And so I feel that, we're doing this by just disconnecting from what is happening in the world, because those situations, those experiences are being created to keep us, to hold us back, really, and to keep us under control. And so, the way that we live our lives now is so different from, like, the way that, for example, our neighbor is living their life, because they're watching the news and they're believing everything that they are being fed. And so it's like, it's maybe the whole world is not going to change at once, but we have the ability to change our own life. And by changing our own life, and maybe even, sharing our perspective online, that's going to, be the example, or serve as inspiration for other people to do the same. And then that creates this beautiful domino effect that just keeps the cycle going. And eventually, the entire earth will be at a higher spiritual level. But, it's gonna take time, for sure. But, let's just start with ourselves by focusing the energy in ourselves and disconnecting from whatever is happening around us. But yeah, I do feel that, I do feel a lot will be taking place the remainder of the year, the next few years. And this is going to be a process that is going to take time and a lot of work, a lot of a lot of focus on our side, and as well as you said, discernment, to know what is true to us, not what they're telling us is true, but what we feel in our hearts is true. And a lot of compassion, so that we don't, like, fall into what we are judging, because it's like, oh, they're fighting, like, wars and all that stuff, but at the same time we're over here judging and engaging in this sort of like energetic or spiritual war with these other people. So it's about just having that, holding the vibration, that frequency of oneness and love. And I think that's going to take us very far. And it feels like a massive shift, what I see us as individuals in this community doing for other people. I think it's very amazing. So I think that's all that I have to share from the Indigenous Collective Mind and from the Galactic Federation for now. They will be coming in more, because we will be working with them, and there will be more lives and videos just connecting to their energies and just talking about, the importance of staying connected to our roots, so that we can reach the stars, but really stay grounded and remain strong in this physical body. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Angelica, is there anything else you want to add to complete this?
Yes, there is just some light language to help bring everything kind of full circle energetically. And then, so tuning again back into your heart center. Breathe in through your heart. Exhale through your heart. Aki no uwasa ta isa na washakasi. Ni uwasa na ku uwasa shaka. Ta uwasa shakuwa. Ata uwasa shaki. Aki ato uwasa anasaka uwasa shi. Ki ana uwasa shakwa. Kana uwasa shaka. Kana uwasa shakate u. Ana. Tito. Ato. Atuka. Atukuwasa. Shikiti aanawasha. Go in love, go in light, and go in grace. Itiasawashati. Tatuasashi. Tikua. Thank you for being here and receiving exactly what it is that you need to align to your truth. Adonai.
It's so beautiful. The energies are it's so amazing. You can find us in other social media platforms. Are we good?
Yes, we're
okay.
good.
All right, well, I'm gonna end this, and we'll see you guys next time for sure.